It's on.
It's on.
Okay, okay. So good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for allowing me to be here today. The topic that we're going to talk about today is homework, what to do at home during the summer. And this is an interesting topic because historically we say many things to our children about summer. Summer's the time to play. Summer's the time where you have to make up a class. What is, and that's two ends of a continuum. Why would we even think about any of those questions? Hopefully by speaking together today, we will understand why you would make a decision to do something with your child during the summer as far as learning. I remember actually talking about one of why students need to practice reading, writing, and math during the summer. When students go to summer school, many times the students we work with are pressed to the maximum when they go to summer school. Why? Because when you go to summer school, everything goes faster, it's much more compressed, you have a lot of homework to do, you have to be almost more structured and more disciplined and a better student, a more efficient student to do a makeup course in summer school than during the school year. Just think of this, a whole semester's worth of work done in maybe 3 or 4 weeks. It's really challenging. But why would we have these summer schools anyway? Why can't our students just go out and mess around outside, which I did a lot in the summer and I loved? Well, what we now know is that there's research that tells us that all students during the summer, without practice of what they've been learning all year, lose some ground. So, our high-achieving students, they learn very, very rapidly, and they pretty much stay the same during the summer. They might learn a little bit more slowly, but they're not too much affected. The average student, and I would say the majority of our students are average students, they make steady progress throughout the school year, and during the summer, they drop some skills slightly. The students that we work with at the Kelter Center are the ones who are the lower achieving students. And what I imagine is they learn more slowly, so their rate of learning is at a slower rate than the average or the high achieving students. So they gain less during the school year and they lose more during the summer. It's often those students who can least afford to lose the reading gains they've achieved who fall the farthest behind, and that's why many teachers in September and October do this enormous review of what was learned in the last year. And so that's time where it's almost like review, makeup, doing it over again, where we could be moving forward if we didn't have those losses during the summer times. Now here's something that I think is really important to pay attention to. When you have a student who has difficulties with reading, whether it's reading individual words, spelling individual words, reading quickly, effortlessly, and accurately, understanding what they read or how they write, as the years progress, with that summer kind of diminution, that gap becomes wider and wider. So by the time a student who struggles with literacy gets to middle school, the gap can be 2 or more years below their grade level performance, just because of that summer break. That's kind of shocking, isn't it? So, here's my philosophy. Children do what I do, not what I say. So if we say to our children, and this includes me, if we say to our children, well, I want you to read every day, and then you go off and do all your other chores, the message is reading is not important. If you say, I want you to read every day, and part of that time we're going to read together, and part of that time I'm going to be reading while you read independently, but everything stops from this time to this time each day, And it's important to me, so I'm going to do lots of different things to show you how important this is. Because children do what we do, not what we say. I remember many, many years ago in another lifetime, my stepson in middle school had to redo mathematics. And I used to, in my old VW van, pick all of his friends and he up after summer school, and they all wanted to go to the beach and they all wanted to surf, but the rule was you've got to finish your homework on the beach before you go in surfing. And I've got to see it. And you know what? Every single one of those kids passed summer school because I made it my effort that that was what would happen. Okay? So some things that you can do specifically is set aside a time each day where it's family reading time. And you can also play games during meals. I am a big believer in playing games because all of us love to play games, and if I want my students to practice something, if I give them a sheet of paper and they have to do it, they can easily become thoughtless and just fill in the blanks. But if we're playing a game and interacting and I put my energy into it, it's a whole different situation. And even if you go on vacation, you want to continue your reading time. In fact, I would love to see it that every family, every day, whether it's summer, winter, fall, or spring, will be working and having this time set aside for reading. I actually don't watch TV, I read. Okay, so how can we practice reading? You want to pick books that are interesting to your child so that they can enjoy it. And we're talking about 3 levels of reading. One level of reading is called independent reading level. And I put down here the 5-finger test. What a 5-finger test means, if your child reads to you out loud from a book that you've chosen, and on any given page you want to be counting how many words they hesitate with. Not only make a mistake with, hesitate with. So as they're reading, if they hesitate on a word, you put up a finger. If you've got 3 fingers, that's a book that you should be reading to them. If you have 5 fingers, that's a frustrational level book for that child. And you should not be they should not be reading it. You want to have maybe 1 or 2 words that they hesitate with, but no more. That's an independent reading level, in which they could read it without you and be able to read all the words. If you want to develop fluency in your child in reading, have it at that independent level. Instructional means that's where I'm teaching you, and frustrational means you should not be using that book. So when we pick books, we want to stay on the independent level all summer long, because that's where you gain confidence, that's where you gain fluency, reading effortlessly, accurately, and understanding. So here's some resources. 1, go to the library and ask the librarian, say, this is the age level.
Sorry.
This is the age level of,
Sorry.
that's okay. This is the age level of my child, this is their reading level, this is what they're interested in. What books can you suggest? Okay? Another place which I really love is on Pico, Children's Book World. They are so helpful there. And so sometimes what I do is I go to Children's Book World and I have them tell me all the books, and then I go to the library and check them out. We're not supposed to say that on film, are we? But you know, if you want to be able to have a wide variety of books and be able to read them many times, I think we underuse the libraries. Okay.